things too. We've been working on the last 4 years, getting zoning correct, and we've accomplished that, and our maps and so forth. And so we're continuing to move to the year 2014. Shirley, let's all stand, and Shirley, lead us in a word of prayer, please.
Thank you for allowing us to be here this afternoon to see about our children. And Father, as you look down on each one of us and bless us one by one in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Amen. Tony, lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We needed someone on our Lakeland zoning board, and Randy Rogers is a licensed surveyor, and he runs the local, how do you say it?
Mozzarella Mamas?
Yeah, Mozzarella Mamas.
Pizza restaurant.
All right, and most of y'all know him or met him? Tony?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. David?
Yes, sir.
And the reason I'm recommending him is that he's a surveyor. So he has a lot of knowledge of zoning laws and appeals and things, and what will fly and will not. So it's hard to get anybody to serve on the board, especially when you don't pay them. Just free volunteer board. So I have a motion that he be appointed to this board. Yeah. This board has met one time in 7 years.
He'll get motivated, Don. Good job.
One time in 7 years. This will be the second time it's met in 7
I'll
years.
make a motion to recommend him. Yes, sir.
I have a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. All right. Approve the proposed charter of the city of Lakeland. We've all been reading this, and we came up with things that this is one that Georgia Municipal Association recommends, and lawyers looked at it, tried to put them all together, and Georgia's been working on it. And one thing that we found left out in there was the mayor has always been able to veto, and come back the next month and council can override, give it time to look, and all this was left out. And I've talked to some of the council members, they want that back in there. Another one, the new proposal here said that it took 3 people to call a meeting, or either the mayor could do it. It's always been 2. I like the 2. Does anybody have any? Everybody like the 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's leave our 2 in there. What else?
Okay, there was one thing about ordinances that it had the new charter had it where you did not have any readings or any public input on ordinances. And Tommy said he overlooked that and it needed change it back to the original where you have 2 readings and have that public input.
And we didn't have a public notice in the new one.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one you did, it was published in the newspaper for 2 weeks. This one doesn't require any newspaper publication. There's a difference, I see it.
Do y'all want to keep a newspaper publication or not?
Well, when I talked to Mr. Cole, he suggested we do. He said he just didn't.
You need 2 weeks or 1 week?
No, I don't know about that now, but he just said notification. 1 week would be enough.
Yeah, 1 week should be plenty. Okay.
And
And
then
also, this one doesn't require 2 readings if everybody agrees to the first reading.
Yeah, if all the council will vote on the first reading, that'd be it. Don't have to have a second reading.
So we have to do the publication before the first reading in case everybody agrees to the first reading. If y'all know about it.
Okay. Shirley brought up one over here, and the old charter said, this one does too, that in the mayor race, the mayor had to get 51%. And I know that's what discussed some of this last time, whether you want to leave it like that. there wasn't no change in the two races this past time. Still, the mayor got the highest percentage both times, but, you know, if you got 4 or 5 running, maybe you do, I don't know, y'all.
I don't think that's changed any, has it, in the new one?
No, but she was asking, could you change it? Now, what's happened about that is these elections are very expensive now, very expensive. And you have to have a whole crowd hired over there for, what is it, a week or 2 before the election?
21 days.
Huh?
21 days, 3 weeks prior.
I'm not against it, having it like the
I
city
read
council.
some, I read
Just
earlier
one
in the paper.
time, one in, you know.
Yeah, whoever gets the most votes the first time, the mayor will be just like the council.
I read, I don't know where it was in Nashville, where it said something, I read in the paper, but they got that 51, they just the one that got the highest votes. The one that won the first time.
Howard did that.
Somebody,
They had 4 running over there, and the one that got the most votes was the mayor.
Because
What y'all,
this
other
was,
feelings about that? Yeah, the mayor just one vote, whoever the highest vote getter for the mayor's races is mayor, just like the council, we don't have any rules.
I feel the mayor ought to have 51% of the vote. I'm not opposed to the deal if that's what you want to do. But that's my personal feeling that then you operate off, like you are now, operate off the majority of the voters of the city of Lakeland. And if you she got 25 and you got 24 and you got 23, she's only operating off 23% of the voters of Lakeland. That's my opinion.
Well, the council's out of way.
Yes, the council is that way, but the council is not the same
The mayor.
as the mayor, nor with the same operation as the mayor. That's my opinion. You've asked me, and I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, that's why I asked you.
But that's still up to everybody here to decide. But you understand the difference, that's what I'm trying to say is.
That position is a little bit different than our position.
That's
But
correct.
I agree with what you're saying, but I mean, I respect it.
I understand the expenses too.
Yeah.
Well, they used to, you didn't have to do all that pre-doings and all, you know.
I'm one of them, that's one election, you either get out there and get your votes or you don't, there's second chances. But I mean, that's just my opinion. But I never run for office before, until 4 years ago. So.
I think part of the thinking is, if you let the mayor be elected by less than 51%, then you have somebody serving, who's serving with minority vote, instead of majority.
But I think the answer to that is when only about 400 people, 1,400 ready voters come out and ready to vote, that tells you right there that they're really not interested in.
I mean,
They still ain't got no majority.
Of the voters.
Yeah, because that's a shame that 400 people come out with 1,200 voters.
Tony, the city election, I've been on for about 14 years, it always has been a low turnout in the city election. But when the shade,
Yeah.
and the special shade, everybody turns out.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the city, they don't turn out, but they have a lot of complaints, you know.
Yeah,
They don't want to vote.
Yeah. But
Well, if they're unhappy, they'll come.
Well, sometimes that figure's been running for years, around about 400 people.
yeah, I know.
And it's about 1,200 or 1,400 people
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
thing.
on radio.
And historically, it's always,
That's not even bad.
3 votes to about 30 difference in the mayor.
And if they didn't come out with this mayor's race, they're not coming out. I mean, no offense to you or anything, but you know, we had about 4 years and they decided they wanted you to stay. So
But I don't know why they come out for the shade.
there ain't nothing else to
I
make
always
you
say,
come out.
they'll come out, they move for that shade, and you one of the first ones.
But I don't want to be put on the,
The first one put them in prison when they come in for.
I don't want to be put on that election in the sheriff's race.
Is that the only one in the whole city and county is the mayor has to have 51%?
Judy's,
chairman has to have 51%.
Yeah.
Judy's petition to be nonpartisan, that's not, well, the probate judge.
That keeps from having the Democrat run and the primary run.
Yeah.
That office just
I
running.
mean, I don't think it is. I don't affect me, because I don't like the mayor, so.
Well, it affects the cost.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, the cost is killing us all is,
Whole work.
poll workers that you have to pay for this early voting.
Yeah, that
There's
early.
even narrow down early voting, but we can't do anything for that.
That's what I said, and the reason you update your charter, new laws, new things taking place.
Why don't we, has the city never held their level election? Has this always been like that, the courthouse, or the probate judge has done it, or?
Yeah, as far as I know. Don, you was back in the 70s, probate judge always held the election.
For the city's never held their own election.
Yeah, city, you have their own election, sure.
Right, I mean, we'll do some,
I don't know, just do it yourself.
Yeah, that's,
But don't you now have to go and get certified and all the whole election, Diane?
Yeah, you have to have the machines,
I don't
and,
know.
only counties, if I'm not mistaken, only the counties can get the machines.
And she'd have to share the machine, but
She
they're
has to
paid by
give the
state.
machines, I believe.
I just had a bad
Because they only
experience.
issue the counties, is that right?
Yeah, just
you
with.
know, Judy, but she explained
They're not compliant.
when she came to, I'm getting more time about that, you know,
But it may not be cost effective, but I mean, it'll just be selfish.
the lights they have to do down here, you know, you
But
can't,
it just-
you can't have.
It's hard to go there and see the 6 or 8 people sitting,
But the same place.
Right.
and that we haven't paid.
And we did.
Yeah.
It's
Then we-
What did it cost this second election just for mayor?
It's about the same, it's about $8,000 for both.
And then we got to pay rent down there to a building that we annexed in.
Now, there's something about the polling place. Person can
I
only
don't
have
get- I
one
don't get
polling
that.
place.
You get one home with you.
We got the best polling place, really.
But we can't change it, not just for city election.
I know, I'm just, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just.
Because I asked.
I'm ready, ready.
Yeah, you could say that right here, it was one home.
Right, you have to have one polling place.
Well, it's so much red tape and new changes in the vote, you just about got to have the probate judge to be in charge of it, whether they do the rest of it or not. So many
Yeah, well,
hours you got.
That's, I don't have a problem with probate judge being in charge. Well, I don't necessarily have a problem with it, I was just curious.
I have a problem with $8,000 to get elected.
Never thought you was worth that, did you?
No.
The city would have to
Does that-
pay for the machines to be tested.
Does that include the runoff too?
Huh?
Does that include runoff?
I would run off too.
I'll pull it, but.
8,000 apiece for the runoff? Well, that's another reason to have,
Yeah, because that's your poll workers.
I mean, if you don't get your votes.
And think about the poor old candidates, what it costs them to send the tax around.
And if you don't
You
get
still
your
have
votes.
to have that early voting, and that would still be a big.
Right, and there's no way around it. Whether it's a runoff.
Yep.
But we
Yep.
could trim, instead of 16,000, we could beat 8,000.
Yeah.
We can do it one day.
I'm just about to do away with the runoff. Well, maybe that's something we could ask around what other cities are doing, if they do it
I
now.
know what they hired does. I saw that.
That's why I brought it up about, you know,
That's about
to be the one that make the same votes there.
Hmm?
Let
I don't think they did, they hired it.
all right, let me make one more observation, maybe. Lakeland is pretty good size little town. In my mind, if you can have candidates of quality, then high man fine. But we aren't sure of those things. And you could have a lesser cross-eyed person hit in a run-up, in an election where you got several candidates that would not be as cross-eyed as the mayor as the runner-up candidate. Yet in the runoff, the runner-up candidate may can It's all hypothetical, and I'm saying that.
I see where you're coming from,
It works both ways.
And you're right.
$5,000.
It works both ways.
Yeah.
And it is, are we here prepared to say that we're willing to sacrifice the chance
Yeah.
against $8,000? I'm just trying to
Well-
stimulate a little.
$8,000 not to drop in the bucket if you get the wrong person.
Exactly, Mr.
And I'm not talking about me getting either, that's,
Well,
that's
I'm
dropping
talking
the
about
bucket.
you. I'm talking about you, because you've done that, you've done a good, the job shows for itself. And I'm just thinking that I'm not sure that $8,000 to spend.
They may turn into a.
No, Donald, it's not. Not that you put it that way. I agree with you. It's not a bad 8,000. It's just one you hate to do.
Well, my goodness, I hate to pay $4 for diesel fuel up there too, but. Yeah.
But,
I just would like for you to think about it.
you're right. You can have the less qualified person and have 3 or 4 running, and that less qualified get the most votes.
Easy enough.
Because the qualified people could bust the votes up here, and the less qualified could get it.
Well,
But then again, on the flip side of that is the people that Lakeland spoke. And they put him up there on that pedestal. So they reap the benefits or they reap the non-benefit. But I say it could hurt you both ways. It works both ways, but since you put it like that, sometimes you have to come back.
okay. I read my case, I just want to bring that out, okay?
That's, I understand.
Well, they always said that the founding fathers of this country were mighty, mighty smart, so. The founding fathers of Lakeland, Georgia had it that way, so. It's been that way all these years, so. Maybe we need to spend that $8,000 and leave it like it is.
Don, how many you got? You got 2 council members, veto power back in, ordinance, and there was one more.
Oh, the garbage thing, we want that garbage thing taken out of there.
Well, this is what he told me, and when he told it, it makes sense, but I mean, whatever you think's best. But he states that he put that in there to show that we could do that if we wanted to, not to say that we have to do it. In case somewhere down the years from now, that becomes an issue, then we can already have it in there. Does that make sense?
We don't want it, the way I read it, we had to do it.
Well, he said, well, he interpreted it to be that it shows that we have the capability and the power to do that, but we're not mandated to do it.
Okay, all right, I'm all right
So
with
that's
this.
what he told me. So, and he said, some may not in our lifetime, but he said it's coming to where you want to do that. So. But he said he copied most of this right out of the GMA model. So, which,
We not mandated, we got to do it, though, it's okay. This was talking about that you had to put containers out and collect aluminum, glass, metal, and all this. And right now, it's unfeasible because it's not a market to sell it, and it would bust the city.
Oh, yeah, I think a lot of places already have that.
In Marion County, remember up there, that busted in the county? They went into that recycling business and cost them a lot of money in taxpayers for a lot of years.
Mayor, one other issue is the municipal court. This new charter gives the judge a lot more power. It takes the power away from the city council, setting fines and other ordinances dealing with that.
No, the city council should set the fine.
So we need to look at that and take that. So, but the new one does, I don't know if he even knows that or not, but it gives him the power to, or George actually saw that, so. So Diane, you can.
I read that, I wasn't clear on that, but it does do that? Yeah, well now, he sets the fines. City council always set the fines. And the judge just enforces them, is that correct?
Usually, I have that checked in here, the question.
I think we need to leave it like the old charter, what do y'all think?
I agree with that, yes.
Leave it like the old charter. Because since I've been mayor, we did a poll of all the cities around here. It came up like what they were charging for DUI and all that, and then the council agreed to set the prices. And,
Because it comes back, it affects us.
Don't affect him, it affects us.
It affects us. So.
And he's not elected, he's appointed by the city council.
Yeah, right, that's Tony. Is that what you're on right there?
Yeah, so we're gonna go back to the old.
That's
Diane, you got that?
Yes, sir.
I got a lot of things checked, I've got all of there.
And the other was about the appointed employees. About putting it back with the buffer between the mayor and the appointed employees. About the old charter state. That's just my feelings about it. I don't know.
Is that again, doing that?
About the appointed employees, the new charter. Sir? Yeah, the police chief and the city clerk. The old charter puts a buffer there, the city council can fire them or terminate their employment. But the new charter gives the mayor authority along with the city council. But I feel like it needs to stay like the old, to have a buffer there. Not saying you would do anything to come in and affect, but a new mayor could come in and fire everybody, and the council could not have any teeth to stop that. That's the only thing.
That didn't happen in that side of Atlanta.
Well, it happened in Pearson.
That part.
The new lady got married, they fired her.
Yeah.
That's the honest thing.
I had that checked.
Well, I think what the old one says is the mayor makes a recommendation,
Points,
and
yeah,
the
council
council fires.
hires them, and then the council.
And takes the council to fire those 5 positions.
Yes.
I like that, that ought to stay there.
Yeah.
So for the new one,
That's not the way it reads.
the new one gives you, which, you know, it's fine and dandy if everybody wants that, but I'm just thinking, if not, this lady had come in, well, she was wanting to get rid of some folks, and if this was in place, the council would sit there and couldn't have no.
I'd
On
like to
those
say,
5 positions.
Yeah, just those 5.
Just those 5 positions.
just don't address these things as to Mr. Bill or the mayor. Let's say the mayor's
Yeah,
position.
mayor's position.
Yeah, Bill Darcy will always be
Well,
mayor.
I exactly have to come up with it. Let's do that.
But,
And then I have to.
okay, but it just don't affect, I'm sorry, it don't affect any other employee, you still have the right to fire and hire all the employees,
Just that.
just them 5. But if something was happening, you could actually fire them, and then they'd come for us, and then we'd back you or not, so. Yeah.
And also another provision in there, and they didn't find it in one place where in case of an emergency, you can hire a policeman or a fireman or whatever, and then when that emergency is over, you can let that one go without going to the city council. And I don't have a problem with that. In case of emergency, you don't have time. But have you finished?
Yes, sir.
The number one issue that I have with this thing is almost personal, but I really don't like the idea of repealing section 7-16. There's a lot of history in this area. It's over short. Goes back to 1921. Lakeland's history in it, and I hate to see us repeal that.
Well, the charter will always be history.
But I like the way this one is.
I got an answer for that.
It's gotta be good.
I'm against it too, but I called Tom, and he agrees, because I asked him before I could get it out of my mouth, before I talk about it, he tells me, oh yeah, you're talking about that, yeah, that's gone, that's history. And so I said, well, do you understand, it just makes it look like we're trying to do away with all the history of Lakeland since 1925. And he agrees, but he suggested that we just do like the second repeater says, that we are revising the city charter. We're not repealing the whole city charter. We're doing these new updates and we're revising it. So maybe that's.
I don't have a problem with that, I just don't want to see it repealed.
But to me, those are.
Well, it's probably 5 lawyers told us we need to do this.
It's okay.
And-
I still have my feelings.
Yeah, I know.
Repealed.
But we got to look out for the citizens of Lakeland and the new laws and
How
stuff.
can that part in this thing affect anybody except its history? It should be there. And it doesn't bother anything in it as far as any laws concerned, no positions, no powers, nothing. It tells us where we started in 1921 or 25,
Right.
come through, and we can amend the charter without repealing it.
What did he say about putting that in there, though?
The second, see, it's got two repealers here. The second one is one that we actually need to go, that we're revising the charter, that we're not repealing the current charter, we're revising.
I can go with
The
revising,
charter.
but I don't want to go with repealing.
And then he told Diane that, correct me if I'm wrong, that we needed to go back and pick up a bunch of the old charter that's in there that we didn't even take up, put back in, because there's a lot of stuff in the old charter that's not even addressed here.
See,
That's
we
just,
put anything back in that we want.
yeah, that we wanted to, so that tells me there we're not repealing those charters.
That's right, we're not repeating.
So, but I'm thinking that we need to take this part out and go with section 718 as a general repealer, and all laws and partisan laws in conflict with this act are repealed.
Well, that's the same thing that it says in 7.16.
Yeah, I know,
It's
it
just
sounds
another
better.
sentence.
It sounds better.
I mean, you can be taken out.
You still repealing it, or you not?
Charter.
I
Look,
Yeah, I know.
this thing, this thing.
But don't say what the other does. You don't have-
Well, I know that you have to take out the whole paragraph.
Okay.
You take it out.
Well, history is history, you can't change history about how they come together and change and all that. But I imagine what the legislator likes for you to send up there to them is, if they're gonna read through this, which they're supposed to, I think all that extra reading, I reckon.
Well, if you notice in this charter here that we got copies from Diane, the old charter, that it has that repeal. If you look at that repealer, Diane, that gives you that.
Right here, section.
Read that repealer. Now, this was revised in 1996, the charter, this charter. Read that part. Read it out.
They just approved it.
Okay, tell us what it said.
It be further enacted by the authority aforesaid that all laws and parts of laws in conflict with provision of this act be and the same are hereby repealed. Approved August 11,
Okay, and if
1945.
that's what this says here, that means in 1996, they repealed the old charter.
That's right. So
It
Donald,
just said all laws and conflict.
Right here. That's what I'm trying to say right here, this repealer right here was work.
Right.
It worked in 1996, and it kept the old laws on the book, so why not let's use this repealer? Let's do away with this repealer, and just have this repealer because it worked in 1996.
The same thing.
okay.
That way you keep it note.
Yeah, you're open. I'm an expert on the charter, I spent all weekend reading it. Something I should have done 4 years ago. Something I think everybody should do, it's amazing.
So we
That's the
want
first
to
thing
leave it.
I did when I was elected to council.
Well, I'd be on, they wasn't in.
In 1996, I read it.
We all, this
George, you all remember that meeting, don't you?
apparently y'all did something to it.
They said they did. So we want to leave it like section.
Or do section 718. Take away section 716 and do 718. George, how about that, all right?
I made them hire everybody like they were supposed to.
What about the poor?
Yes, sir, that's
The quorum now states that it takes 3 council members and the mayor or the mayor pro tem to be present to constitute a quorum, because we got into this about this store being closed down here in what's his name, kept saying that we violated the law. Well, we didn't, because the charter states it takes 3 and 1 or the other. Well, I was there, but I was not the mayor pro tem at the time. So, but now this new one states it takes 4 without the mayor pro tem. So I think we need to go back to the original where it takes the mayor or the mayor pro tem to be present to constitute a quorum. Because a lot of times we wind up at a store somewhere, 3 or 4 of us, are there by chance or accident. If we told, well, people, well, you have to meet. Well, no, we're not, because the mayor or the mayor pro tem has to be here. So, but I think, in my opinion, I think we need to go back to the original plan. But I'm open to debate.
I have been reading too many check marks every end, so where did
The quorum is, it states in the new thing, it takes 4 people minus the mayor and mayor pro tem to hold a meeting. The way it's presently, it takes 3 people and the mayor or mayor pro tem.
That's the way it always
Two,
been.
one. 2-1, 2-1.
So, and I think that's, to me, that's the way we need to keep it.
Three members and the mayor or the mayor pro tem.
That makes 4 people.
All this stuff is undermined by that.
Yeah, it still takes 4 people, but that 4th person has to be the mayor or the mayor pro tem.
I think it's good.
Yeah, because if you just have 4 council members, that's too easy to get in trouble with.
Well, you elect the mayor, be the mayor, and you have a backup mayor, mayor pro, and their position ought to be honored in any meeting.
Yeah.
The mayor can't be there, mayor pro tem should be, if Mitch can be there, don't have a meeting till they can. How's that read?
But on this new one, it says if you do that, the mayor pro tem votes just like the council can too. If you saw that.
Yeah, so we need to go back to the old charter and keep that, but we have that problem. Not saying anybody abused it.
No, we ain't never had a problem with it.
No, it's just, I'm just afraid that if it takes 4 council members to do a quorum, it's easier to do that than have the mayor and pro tem there. Because when you see the mayor and mayor pro tem, you go like, oh, we need to back up. You don't need a meeting.
All right, now I put that down back to where it was.
Okay. Anything else, George?
I don't know, everything that y'all mentioned.
Ray, sure, you don't have anything else you want to change?
Yeah, I've been over.
What about the power of the mayor pro tem? We're gonna leave it the same, that they vote as a member of the city council at all times when serving? Section 2.29?
What does he normally do? Well, if he's acting as the mayor, he should act as the mayor, not vote just break a tie.
That's right.
He should be able to vote. Like the council.
That's the way it is now.
Like Mr. George said, it gives him the right
Yeah,
to
we need
vote.
to go back to the original of that. He don't need it. I mean, not that you do.
Some other changes that were made would be the swear in, the mayor swears in.
The judge,
There's commissions, people on committees, people on committees. That's what I remember reading.
I saw where the mayor swears in the judge.
Yeah, chief judge.
All right, what is it now? The attorney been doing that?
I don't know.
Well, we ain't,
Ain't nobody sworn in.
well,
Ain't nobody.
we ain't had any, the committees, you know, I mean, that's the first one in there. It's just appointed by the mayor.
That's what it says there, mayor appoint committee.
Yeah, then if you want to add somebody at any time, you can, or if you don't, you don't.
Take them off anytime.
Take them off. I mean, that's fine by me.
It also provides in here about $1 million bondage